What lovely clouds. However, contrasted with the more moderate textures of the blocks, they look a little out of place. These lazy bums are just standing there, completely still, while the other pillagers do all the work. This Ravager's foot is floating here. The villager on the left looks genuinely worried, while the villager on the right just looks slightly annoyed. This crossbow clips straight through the pillager and the villager. I'm just gonna go ahead and send all the clipping in this video. Lucky number 7, editors. The villagers in this video could use some luck. Now, this is a nitpick, but in order to make the fire look like it's moving, the animators made each piece of it wobble like paper. I'm gonna send it for the lack of detail due to other things such as lamps having flies around them. The pillager on the left has very little arcs to its movements, and ends up moving like a robot more than anything. The villager doesn't quite run as much as he cha-cha slides real smooth away from the pillagers. The way those trees are blowing in the wind is so disorienting. I thought I'd been staring at the screen a little too long. Without flexibility in the facial textures, you get scenes like this where the 5 o'clock shadow doesn't bend when he opens his mouth wide in surprise. Hello, edge of the map. Looking quite sharp now, aren't you? You're telling me the captain here looked at his shack and saw this TNT from where he was at? Not even the camera could see it. This dude obviously has X-ray on. Also, I get wanting to have variance in the block sizes for visual effect, but I'm still sinning it because everything else we've seen has been true to size. Ah yes, wave silently. Your fellow pillagers will certainly hear you. To make the explosion, the blocks get sucked out of existence and a particle cloud shows up. I'm pretty certain Minecraft TNT doesn't cause everything around it to implode like that. Right before the scene changes, the texture of the sky rotates and a new set of trees appear. Instead of splitting here and then tipping over as it should have, the tower just sinks into the ground and tilts. The chest begins to slide way too late. This pillager flag here waves outwards instead of inwards when it falls. The lighting on this grass here flickers as the camera moves. Alex's leg comes to a really awkward rest without any follow through. The pillager in the back fires his arrow from just barely chest level. Aside from the fact that he's almost completely still through the whole motion, that's just terrible crossbow etiquette. 2 arrows go straight into Alex, whose expression reads, "Oh, that's a bummer. Even if the arrow didn't pierce the armor, she should have been shaken by the impact." Also, there are only 3 crossbow class pillagers, but 5 arrows reach them in this shot. Maybe one of them has multi-shot, but that wouldn't make sense. Multi-shot is not that accurate. Frankly, that's what you get for standing completely still and screaming with your arms above your head. Steve's run cycle has no ups and downs. Also, Steve has no anticipation before he jumps this log. Also, the curves on his main controller, the thing that moves the entire rig, cause him to float down here. Alex's trident just slides into him while the pillager's body tries to stay in sync. Sin for Alex's expression here. It's meant to look like she's raising an eyebrow in curiosity, but her bottom left eyelid moves up instead of the top ones. Alex's expressions in this video have been a bit tame. This expression looks more like worry than "I just got smacked backward with a door." Steve turns in midair here. For a moment, both Steve and Alex are floating. I wanted to give a sin off for this amazing shot being so dynamic, but this guy right here is completely still. What? We're animation sins. What did you expect? For the amount of smooth animation in this video, there's a lot of snappy ones in this sequence. I'm just giving it 3 sins and moving on. What kind of person puts meat on the ground? Are you trying to get people sick? The beet juice being poured here doesn't follow the basic laws of physics. These guys are completely still as Steve walks by them. Where did the beet soup go? There's no traces of it on Alex or on the ground. Maybe it was never there to begin with. Pretty sure that bowl would have fallen off Alex's head by now, especially when she starts laughing. The fireworks disappear a good second before the particles show up. Those poor players have been doing the same dances for quite a while now. I feel bad for both of them, but especially for this one spinning. Despite being fully able to close, there's just a little bit still open. Dang, she kept her eyes cracked open through the night? That's actually pretty impressive. Since I'm pretty sure almost everyone has the same walk and run cycles, all their feet slide. That's excessive. 4 swords and a bow? Where are the arrows? And how is he carrying so many swords to begin with? As cool as this is, I have to sin it. Technically, there would have to have been a loyalty enchantment on the trident for that to work. And we've never seen it with the telltale purple glow. Anticipation? Don't know her. One does not simply break into a steady jog from a stern walk that quickly. Alex, despite having faced forward when she was running, decided to take a gander at the camera so that she could run into Steve. I know I've been harping on the facial expressions a lot, but seriously, Alex wakes up in the middle of a war zone, and her expression looks like she just lost her wallet. I know this isn't environment sins, but how can a tree exist on such a thin platform of dirt? Its roots would drape down and kill the tree because they need a lot of nutrients that the air alone couldn't provide. This crossfade into another part of the background song sounds very awkward. For one, it fades in too quick, and two, the 2 clips of the song aren't matched up. You can hear 2 sets of shakers here. This jump has no anticipation on it. He just floats onto the Ravager here. The pillagers seem to be moving way faster than their run cycle would suggest. There is also no offset between any of the cycles here. They're all just in sync. On the other hand, these horses seem to be going much slower than their cycles, so they'll keep up with the rest of the crowd. The Ravager gets upended by the Iron Golem, and then is nowhere to be seen in the next shot. This pillager just slides across the screen. This Vindicator shoots to the ground after he gets hit with the axe. Unless Alex's leg day is every day, kicking an arrow would never generate enough force to pierce another dude's gut like that. Steve's mouth just slides all around his face here. These guys running ahead of the Evoker are such cowards, given how far away they were previously and where they are now. This villager just gave up on life. How to get brain damaged 101. Do this. This scene is now taking place in a medium blue void. Either that or the focal length in the fog has obscured everything beyond that short tree line to where it looks like an abyss. Frankly, I'd be scared of a guy who can jump twice his height from just a partial crouch. Again, anticipation matters. Unless Steve weighs like a feather, he and the Vexes should be sinking much more. My man back here keeps firing arrows on loop, even after the raiders have long since cleared the tree line. The map blurs as it snaps into Steve's hand. In conclusion, a purely story-driven tale that isn't forced into a music video is refreshing to see. The narrative was simple yet effective, the integration of the patrons was mostly smooth and subtle, and the animation was overall quite enjoyable. A wonderful production and animation.
Assemble.